Our next speaker is Sue Brooks. Sue is an art director, graphics designer who provides creative solutions to graphic design projects for a variety of businesses. Her design experience includes creating and producing advertising, annual reports, books, catalogs, corporate collateral, direct mail, magazines, and website graphics. Sue is involved with Empowering Today's Professional Jersey Shore Networking Group, both in Manalapan as well as in Toms River locations. In the past 2 years, Sue has been a distinguished speaker, especially in the areas of networking. Sue has been a Toastmaster for over 10 years, where she has earned many awards. The title of Sue's speech is Real People, Real Networking. Welcome, Sue.
Thank you, Rod. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, fellow ETP members, panelists, and guests. When I first heard about networking, it was way back when dinosaurs roamed the earth, back in the 80s. I was a young professional designer in New York City, and I met with other fellow designers on a regular basis to exchange support, information, and business. That was basically the extent of it. We all had jobs, right?
Right.
Fast forward to the mid-80s, when the Apple Macintosh computer came out in 1984. I had to rethink my terminology because computers were all over then for business and personal use. So when I talked about networking, I had to be careful. Was I talking about computer networks, or were we talking about people networks? You had to be very careful in that regard, because you didn't want to get confused. One of the most interesting things about networking was fast forward to 2004, around the time I met Rod Colon and became involved with the ETP network. I must admit, at the beginning, I was what I believe it's Chip Hartman calls a networking lurker. I sat in on the conference calls, I listened, I observed, but I don't think I provided anything of value. Rod found out that I was a Toastmaster, and he connected me with a fellow ETP member and Toastmaster, Gene McCarthy. Rod thought it would be a great idea if ETP members could gain some of the benefits from Toastmasters. After all, some people join Toastmasters to improve their public speaking and leadership skills because they want to advance their jobs or their careers. Others want to improve their technical presentations. Others want to own their careers and own their businesses and become professional speakers. Rod was even willing to have the ETP network back a chapter or club. He connected me with Gene, and we got to work. With the help of several other Toastmasters throughout New Jersey, we put together a demonstration meeting in Edison. It was very well attended, and our goal for the meeting was one of two outcomes. Either we would create a Jersey Shore ATP chapter for Toastmasters, or we would provide information for the attendees so they can make a decision whether they wanted to join an existing Toastmaster club. Their reasons for attending were a variety as the members of this audience. Some were frightened with, as Alex put it, the elevator speech, getting up in front of people. So Toastmasters provided table topics, which is an opportunity to speak extemporaneously in front of a crowd on a topic you've never heard before. Gene and I worked together. We had a very successful meeting, and a great group of people attended. We did not create a chapter for ETP, but many of the attendees did go on to become Toastmasters. It was a great experience, and Gene and I kept in touch. Gene's a technical writer, and she had an opportunity to work in my hometown on a consulting job. She called me up and said, "Sue, you want to get together for lunch?" I said, "Great, I'd love to." Now, meanwhile, I had worked with her on this one event, and we worked for a long time, so we had built a relationship. Towards the end of the lunch, Jean said, "Sue, I'm working on this project." It was for the military, so I can't get into any details. However, you're a graphic designer, right? That's what you do. She mentioned a certain software program. Do you know how to work with this? Are you available? Are you interested? I said, "This is great. Sure." So because Jean and I had a working relationship, she went to bat for me. She was willing to make that connection. She introduced me to the team, and we worked together on the project for several months. I was very happy to be part of that. Another great job opportunity came about from other people networking. One day, at the snack machine, Ted asks Kurt, "Is Ken available to work on this long-term project?" I had worked with Ted, I had worked with Ken, but Ken wasn't available. So Ted and Ken connected me with Kurt, and I was able to take on the job. They went to bat for me. They were willing to make the connection because we had worked together. They knew my work. They knew me. But fellow ETP members and guests, it's not all rosy. It's not all, wow, this is great, it all clicks. Sometimes there are what we call networking jerks. All they want is me, me, me. What can you give for me? As Alex preferred in his speech, they never ask, how can I help you? What can I do for you? Those people are toxic. You don't want them in your network. And yes, it's true. It's very difficult. You may have to cut them out. You may have to weed them out of your garden in order for you to grow and thrive. It's not a pleasant thing, but you have to do it. Here's some tips. With your networking, when you meet people, it's a good idea to find out how often they would like to keep in touch. Is it every week? Is it every month? Maybe every couple of months? And find out the way that they like to speak with you. Some people are email people. Other people prefer a phone. Other people love to meet for lunch. Some people like video Skype chats. There's all kinds of media. There's all kinds of ways. But find out what your contact's like. Another thing, follow up. Don't just say you're going to do it. Do it. Follow up. Stay in touch. Ping them once in a while. Something else that happened to me, another very interesting networking story. I was working for several months with a local design firm. I had a good relationship. We worked on many projects. They kept calling me back. Then I find out, oh no, they're moving to their corporate headquarters in Princeton, and they have designers on board. What am I going to do? I was afraid I'd never hear from them again. A year goes by. I get an email and a phone call. Are you available to work? So I said, sure, this is great. So stay in touch is the message. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a wonderful opportunity. Keep in touch with your networkers. Don't be a networking jerk. Find out how the people with whom you communicate want to maintain the correspondence. And remember, when you share a passion and you share something in common, your bonds as networking and networkers grow stronger. Mr. Rockwell.